Ladies and gentlemen, we're going into a recession. Trump is such a screw up. He is going to take us into a recession. That's the only thing he's going to manage to accomplish that's big in his presidency. So, how are most Americans doing? Well, according to this latest survey, totally unprepared for the upcoming recession. So this came out in Newsweek, September 26, 2019. Americans are unprepared for a recession. Survey finds Americans focused on paying bills, not saving. Despite the record economic expansion, many Americans are still focused on keeping up with bills rather than accumulating savings, which means they'll be less prepared if a recession hits. Although the economic recovery from the Great Recession has continued for more than 10 years, 38% of Americans are still concerned about keeping up with their bills, according to a survey for consumer finance company Bankrate released Wednesday. The survey, which was conducted earlier this month among 1,017 respondents, found that 29% of Americans were focused on saving and 19% were focused on paying debt. The survey found that individuals earning more money were more focused on saving. 39% of respondents earning 75,000 or more said their primary financial priority was saving, while only 19% of respondents earning less than $30,000 said they were primarily focused on saving, while 51% of that income group reported that they were mainly concerned with paying bills. The survey is the latest from Bankrate that shows many Americans are unprepared for a possible recession, even as concerns about an economic downturn rise. Every household that doesn't have sufficient savings will be living on the edge when a recession arises. And in a sense, they're living on the edge even before a recession arises. Bankrate's senior economic analyst, Mark Hamrick, said, for people who have a sense that they are current on bills, the logical next step would be to save more money. Prior surveys from Bankrate and others have similarly raised concerns about the amount of savings that Americans have and noted that the lack of an economic buffer means a recession could be particularly damaging. And see, that's what happened actually in 2008. There were a lot of people laid off, a lot of people collecting unemployment. So when the recession hit, they were literally stuck in a hole financially. With debt they could not really completely pay off because unemployment don't pay money like that. It just doesn't. So they were really literally stuck in a hole and couldn't get out. And the people that lost their jobs during that time, they had a rough time too. And back then, many employers, they would check your credit. And some people that once had good credit, when they lost their jobs or they were collecting unemployment, their credit was no longer good. And they were kept out of jobs until many governors, like the Chris Christie was the governor back then. And he actually changed the laws where employers could not use your credit as a means of not hiring you. That was done away with in the state of New Jersey and in other states too. A 2018 survey from the Federal Reserve found that 40% of Americans wouldn't be able to pay a $400 emergency expense without spending something or borrowing money. In July, the bank rate published a survey that found that 28% of Americans have no savings, and only 18% had enough savings to pay for 6 months of expenses. Wow, that's a low amount. 18%. Despite the concerning state of American savings and the ability to weather the financial impact of a recession, data from the National Association for Business Economics released last month found that 72% of economists thought a recession would take place by the end of 2021. Economic readings depict a relatively strong economy, although job growth slowed last month and consumer confidence dropped sharply in September, registering the biggest drop in 9 months. The conference board, which issues the metric, said that the President Donald Trump's escalation of a trade war with China has was partly responsible for the drop. Still, unemployment was at 3.7% in August. But concerns about the uncertainty caused by the US China trade war have contributed to worries that a recession is coming. So, ladies and gentlemen, a lot of people are worried about this recession and they are not prepared. And it's hard to be prepared if you're not making a good income out here. It's very difficult to prepare yourself or even have savings. I mean, that's easier said than done. People, a lot of times, even with bigger incomes, they have a lot of debt. They may have a big income, but with that big income, they have car notes, a mortgage, they're paying for college, and all kinds of things. So don't think because somebody is reeling in a lot of money that they don't have a lot of debt. Usually they do. In fact, more common that they have debt than uncommon. So all we can do is the best we can to save. Save something, even if it's a little bit of money each time you get paid. And you got to keep on living no matter what happens out here. But I do remember that 2008 recession, and I remember reading online about a lot of people that were struggling during that time period. And a lot of them were even asking for help, and they never got that help. You know, that's why so many families never bounced back during that time period. And I remember even in my state, it was a big jump in people going on food stamps. And I remember reading the write ups about that during 2008 and even all the way through 2010. It was a lot of people getting food stamps. And I think it was like record numbers, if I recall what I was reading back then. So, ladies and gentlemen, the real question is, are you prepared for this upcoming recession that we're definitely going to get into because this trade war has not stopped? In fact, just in the next week, October 1st, not even a week, we're days away from that. More tariffs are going to be hit from the US on China. And China got tariffs that they've been hitting back on the US. October 1st is just a few days away. Please tell me what you think, ladies and gentlemen. Please leave your comment and subscribe. Don't forget to hit on the notification bell, and I'll see you on the next video. Peace, family.